Thanks, fellas, and welcome to downtown Chicago. It's the DePaul Blue Demons. They're back at their home floor, 12-2 on the season. They're hosting the Providence Friars, Game 2 of their Big East Conference schedules. We welcome you courtside, everybody, along with Tariq Turner, Jeff Levering with you. Saw some great Big East hoops earlier today with Creighton and Butler as well. Today, kind of a throwback game, kind of smash mouth, front line, and very physical.
It definitely feels like an old-school Big East game. Two physical teams that are going to pound each other in the paint. DePaul off to their best start in 30 years, and Providence trying to get their first win on the road. We'll see who wins the battle in the paint.
No, this crowd is certainly enthused about this DePaul program, no doubt about it. So take a look at our starting lineups here, presented by Jeep. And for you, the biggest matchup that you want to see, the 2 point guards, both Chicago natives, Lawayne Pipkins, as well as Charlie Moore.
Yeah, 2 hometown kids grew up together, went to elementary school together, and know everything about each other as a basketball player. And they're the floor leaders for both their teams. Charlie Moore has given this team at DePaul a shot of adrenaline and leadership and point guard play. And then Pipkins is a point guard that plays off the ball more lately. They both are keys to both their teams going to win.
Pipkins on the defensive end, that's going to be the question mark as Providence is going to try and slow down Charlie Moore. See there, Morgan Park High School for Lawayne from Chicago as well. They played AAU together for a number of years, played against each other in high school championships. They know each other well. For Providence, they played Northwestern earlier, so this is not a reunion of sorts for Pipkins. So this is a grind them out, go get them against one-year-old boys from the playground. There's Paul Reed getting ready to jump it up against Khalif Young. You're going to see size in this game that you're not used to in college basketball these days.
It's going to be a lot of pounding. It'll be interesting to see how the officials call it, because I expect to see a lot of physicality, and I think whoever wins the battle in the paint is going to come out with the W.
All right, DePaul coming off of a tough loss against Seton Hall last time. Providence 1-0 in conference play after taking down Georgetown.
DePaul coming out at man-to-man. They're primarily a man-to-man team. Providence going to try to pound it down low early.
And Khalif Young with a miss. Jalen Butts, a lot of size there. Paul Reed came over to help out, one of the best shot blockers in the conference. Charlie Moore last time out with 13 points, but only made 4 of his 15 shots.
Well, Moore has to play well. The 2 games that DePaul has lost, he has not played his customary game in terms of taking care of the ball. Had 8 turnovers in his last game. Expect a strong bounce back today for him to win.
8 of the 14 total team turnovers as Paul Reed immediately with a jumper got it altered by Khalif Young.
Nice contest by Young, getting a high hand, causing that shot to come up short.
Transition 3 by Pipkins and a fresh 20 for Providence. And a nice reverse lay-in by the sophomore David Duke.
Well, he's the athletic guy that can get to the rim at will, especially when he gets an angle. Quick first step, and a nice job using the rim as a shield to avoid the block shot.
Romeo Weems, another talented freshman. He knocks down his first jumper of the afternoon.
Well, we're going to hear a lot about this young man. Weems, very impressive, one of the best freshmen in the conference, has a great feel for the game. Good start for the young man.
He's going to have the senior Alpha Diallo all over him this afternoon, one of the best defenders in the league. Duke, an open shot, and a rebound by Paul Reed. You'll be hearing that quite a bit this afternoon.
DePaul wants to run and play with tempo, and it starts with Moore pushing it off the bounce.
And a sloppy possession as Paul Reed tips it out to Moore, and Moore off to a slow start offensively.
Offensively, Diallo is the go-to guy for Providence. He's an inside-outside guy, versatile wingman.
Khalif Young with a good ball fake and a foul on DePaul. You see Dave Lato in his second stint as the head coach of the DePaul Blue Demons. This is the best team he's had since they last went to the tournament back in 2004.
Yeah, he's done a great job of keeping his team humble and also hungry and not satisfied with their success. Obviously, his second stint at DePaul. Very excited about this team. Feels like he's a year ahead because most of these guys are coming back next year returning.
The only senior on their roster, Jalen Coleman-Lands, the transfer from Illinois, got hurt and missed the majority of last season. They have experience, they have age on this DePaul team, but they're still young in terms of the Big East Conference.
And they're young in terms of having success. So how do they deal with that success, and how do they bounce back when they have some adversity like their last game when they lost to Seton Hall?
Paul Reed intercepting the pass. Reed, who has been such a difference maker here in Chicago. Jalen Butts had it stripped away into the hands of Moore.
Nice job, Providence, sending two guys down. They're not going to double the post, but they're going to send guys down to dig.
Romeo Weems knocks down the triple.
Weems more known as a driver than a shooter, but when he gets his feet set, he's going to knock some shots down. Spends a lot of time after practice, always the last guy in the gym. According to Coach Lado, working on his game, working on the shot.
Just 42%, but not a lot of attempts. Just his 27th. He's 12 for 27 now. Romeo Weems from beyond the arc. Touchdown low to Emmett Holt, short. Jalen Butts very active on that front line.
Well, one shot is what they're trying to limit Providence to. Such a good offensive rebounding team, but DePaul feels like a key to this game is limiting them to one shot and controlling the glass.
Ed Cooley said the same thing on the offensive glass for DePaul because of all their size. Spinning around Weems. And it's going to go to Providence.
It's interesting. Weems is starting to attack Diallo and try to go at him.
You see Ed Cooley there in his his eighth season here in Providence. Off to a slow start. Offensively, just 1 for 6. It's a Providence team that starts 4 seniors, though. Maybe the most experienced team in the league.
And that's experience, as you know, does not guarantee success, but certainly Coach Cooley expected his upperclassmen, particularly this man Diallo, to be a leader.
Wild pass from Alpha.
Early on, it feels like a defensive game, Jeff. There's not much fluidity on the offensive end. Both teams extending their defense out. DePaul is really concerned in watching their practice yesterday on closing out to shooters, getting bodies on each other in the paint, and making it difficult to limit them to one shot. And so far, we have not seen either team get on track offensively.
Now Diallo checks out, and the sophomore A.J. Reeves is in for Alpha. See how Reeves does on Weems. You go inside to Jalen Butts and a block from Providence. Emmett Holt comes away with a loose ball.
Great job attacking the glass and blocking that shot. Sending 2 bodies to the glass.
Backing down, David Duke. David Duke has taken his game to another level in his sophomore season. Reed with a good ball fake underneath. Jalen Butts.
And the 2-man action between the 2 bigs is why DePaul is so tough to guard in the front court. Nice shot fake and a nice bounce by Reed and avoiding the charge. Finishes it with the Butts.
Now a 3 on the other. Duke again. He's got all 5 for Providence. Averaging 12 a game. Charlie Moore, nice drive.
Well, that's what he's really good at. Off the bounce, very crafty. He rejects the ball screen and found a gap and gets into the paint. Very good at getting into the basket off the bounce and finishing.
And Dave Lato loves the way that he can create. We get an offensive foul on David Duke. And Paul Reed has his DePaul team flying high. Great feed to Jalen Butts.
Good action, big to big. These 2 guys are 2 of the best front court guys. The tandem in the Big East, playing well together early.
The Bean in downtown Chicago. 4-point lead for the DePaul Blue Demons. And we came on the air today, Tariq, talking about the guards, the point guards, both Chicago natives. These guys go way back.
Yeah, they go way back to elementary school. I spoke with Charlie Moore after practice yesterday. He said they're 2 of the best friends that you could imagine and has bonded through basketball and just followed each other all the way along from high school, from elementary all the way through high school. And at high school, they were rivals. Pipkins went to Bogan High School and Moore went to Morgan Park, and that's a huge rivalry in the Chicago Public League. So they've supported each other off the court, but on the court, they're trying to come out with a win.
And Pipkins, the transfer from UMass. Charlie Moore, a couple of times over a transfer from Cal, and as well as Kansas. And now they meet here in Chicago. Both are quiet from the outset as Jalen Coleman lands with a drive, got his own rebound, and Coleman lands, finishes.
Well, he's important to the team, Jeff, as you know. As a 3-point shooter, he has to diversify his game, puts the ball on the floor and keeps the defense off balance, finishes up his shot. He's the X factor for this DePaul team.
Feels like he is every day. The way that he's able to shoot the 3, he can go get his. He was massive in their win against Iowa early on in the season. Nate Watson touches the floor for the first time, going on Paul Reed, and an air ball by Nate Watson.
Another good challenge by the front court of DePaul, making it difficult for Watson to get a good angle, and then they get the rebound.
Moore steps back, and he's still without points in this ball game. It was a big challenge for David Duke today from Ed Cooley on Charlie Moore. Getting on the floor, there's Moore trying to take it away from his old buddy Pipkins. A jump ball is going to go to DePaul.
Well, Ed Cooley is always going to challenge his players, and particularly his leaders, and Duke being one of those key guys. He challenged him to defend more and make it difficult for him, and he reminded him before the game that, look, if you want to win this game on the road, our first road win, then it starts with your defense on Charlie Moore, and certainly Ed Cooley is a master motivator, so I know Duke is fired up.
It's a Providence team that is second in the league in steals per game, averaging nearly 10. DePaul right on their heels, though. Third in the conference in that department. And we'll get an offensive foul. A little extra.
They're going to call the
Darius
push-off
Hall
on Darius Hall, and that was an easy call. He extended his arm out, and a little bit of a flop by Dance, but it worked.
Right in the chest. You're going to see that all the time. As soon as you see that space created with that elbow, easy whistle.
Yep.
3-ball now. Off the heel, Nate Watson with an offensive rebound. And Watson goes around Paul Reed.
Watson's their horse, and he's missed a few games early on in this year, but they said, Coach Cooley said he's coming along. He feels like he's back to full strength, so expect him to have an immediate impact in the paint.
Paul Reed couldn't hit his first three of the afternoon. A 4-point lead for DePaul. Butts and Weems about ready to check back in. Good help from Charlie Moore on Watson. Gant looking for help. It's White slicing through, and he's fouled on his drive.
Nice recognition by White. When you find a double team, there's always going to be a man open. White recognized that, and he cut straight to the basket. And the double on Gant, good poise by him not to turn it over, and White finds an open space to get the shot attempt.
So Malik White goes to the line, 73% from the free throw stripe, the senior from Richmond. 13 minutes in the win against Georgetown on New Year's Eve. And White knocks down the first. Moore gets his first break of the game as Romeo Weems checks back in, as well as Jalen Butts. Paul Reed will get an extra rest with immediate timeout coming up, under 12.
Well, White's an important part of their rotation. Coach Cooley is always going to depend on his seniors, and White being one of those guys that has started at times and come off the bench. He's comfortable in either role, but a capable guy that can play the one or the two and make plays.
Very unselfish player. Likes playing defense, likes distributing. He can go get his when he wants to, but he realizes that's not the role on this team. Coleman lands on another drive, and he ran right into the teeth of the Providence defense.
Well, the thing I like about Coleman Lance's game so far is he's attacking the basket. He's going to the rim hard. Most of the time, he's catching and shooting or doing a 1 or 2 dribble pull-up. But so far early, he's attacking the basket, keeping the defense off balance, and making plays in the paint.
So Coleman lands, goes to the free throw line. The foul before the block from Alpha Diallo, averaging nearly 11 a game. And when his stroke is on from beyond the arc, watch out.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a guy that can space the floor because he's a deep threat. And obviously, he comes over to it with that reputation from when he was a player at Illinois, great three-point shooter at Illinois, and now he's kind of settled in his role here at DePaul. And, he's a guy that's more than a three-point shooter, as we can see early. He can put the ball on the floor and make things happen.
Mentioned earlier, lost the majority of the season last year with a broken hand. Suffered it in a game in December.
A little zone look by DePaul. They changed their defense up from time to time, particularly off of made foul shots. They like to switch it up, keep the defense off, keep the offense off balance.
Dylan Diallo found the soft spot in that zone and knocks down a triple.
And he doesn't need a lot of space. He's really improved his outside shot. A versatile swingman or wingman that can shoot from deep.
Diallo, as that shot is short from Weems, and Malik White battling for the rebound. It's going to stay with Providence. Alpha Diallo, the senior from Providence, has a tie game.
And the senior stepping up big, and they're going to need his offense all game long. A double-double guy off to a good start with the pull-up.
The senior for the Providence Friars, knocking down a big three moments ago to tie this ball game up at 12 apiece. He has been a beast so far for Ed Cooley in his senior season. A double-double machine, 6 of them on the season, 3 of those in the last 4 games.
Yeah, one of the best players in the conference, has gotten better every year. Obviously, being the senior, he knows that this is his time to take his team out on a bang and get them back into the tournament. And you know, he does most of his damage in the paint below the foul line, but a versatile guy, not shooting the three great so far this year, only 24%, but certainly more than capable of stretching the floor and knocking down some deep threes.
Great defensive effort out of Diallo as well. A matchup that we've been talking about, Romeo Weems and Alpha Diallo. Hasn't lived up to it as much so far in the early going, but 11:45 to go in this first half. It's going to start heating up, I know that.
No question, and Weems is off to a pretty aggressive start with the shot attempts, and you know, expect Diallo to get more active as the game goes on in the paint, particularly when they run that flex offense that they love, Ed Cooley, where he gets the ball on the block.
And Charlie Moore started this segment on the bench, now making his way to the table to check in, and an errant pass. We're going to get a foul underneath before it, though. Cutting was Diallo and got knocked down by Darius Hall.
And that's Hall's second foul, but that was a set play out of a timeout to get the ball in the paint to Diallo, who did a nice job sealing Hall. And you know, Diallo's only 6'7", but strong lower body, long arms, does a good job of commanding the ball down low, and did a nice job drawing that foul.
So Hall leaves with 2 personals. You saw Charlie Moore back on the floor as well as Paul Reed. Short break. Reed altered the shot, but still goes down for Greg Gant.
Good looking shot off the flex offense, which we just spoke about. Down screen for Gant, and he gets out and knocks it down.
Watch out. Greg Gant with the steal and the flush.
This young man is talented. He's a freshman, and Coach Cooley is very excited about him. Now Providence off to an 11-1 run now.
And Charlie Moore sets up the lob to Paul Reed.
And that's an easy offense for Moore to just put the ball around the rim. And Paul Reed, probably the best athlete in the conference. Nice lob to the big man for the finish.
Touchdown low in the paint. Watson got away with a flying elbow and got the face of Butts, a block by Reed. No call there.
Refs letting them play. Old school Big East. I like it.
Get a whistle down low, and again we see the freshman Greg Gant. He is the only freshman that gets a lot of PT for Providence.
He's a talented freshman. He's long, athletic, has a good touch, and active on the defensive end in the passing lane. So here we see the lob, the penetration by Moore, the defense collapses, and Reed is wide open, unaccounted for. No one can touch him near the rim.
So we got a timeout on the floor. Officials going over to the replay monitor to have a look maybe at the elbows.
Yeah, Butts took a shot. I don't think it was dirty. It was clean, but Nate Watson, as I said earlier, is a grown man down low in the paint.
The officials, again, are taking a look at that play down low. And Watson was just trying to create some space and coming across. And, again, as we talked about in the heat of the moment, I don't think any flagrant.
It wasn't flagrant. It did not look flagrant at all. It just happened that Butts was right in the way of Watson's elbow. And you know, we called it in the pregame, Jeff. This is going to be a physical, punch you in the mouth kind of game. And that's an example of what we predicted. 2 teams going at it down low.
This is great old school. Providence is wearing the 82-85 throwbacks, and this is the play again.
Okay.
You see Watson backing down, and there was some contact there, but just in the spirit of the game.
The official Bill Covington just said it's a play on, just a basketball play, and that's part of being in the Big East.
I like to see this in this atmosphere of basketball these days. Is Butts backing his way down, the whistle down low.
Well, both teams starting to go back down to their bread and butter and post up deep. Butts is probably a mismatch for Gant down low. Nice deep post up by Butts. who fields him and draws the foul on the freshman.
And Gant needs a break. A couple of fouls for Gant. Emmett Holt checks back in for Providence. Deep pass pulled in by Paul Reed. Here's a great battle going on down low for position. They'll get Emmett Holt with the personal as he and Butts were going shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, it's physical down there. And, you know, I really am interested to see how Providence, how they react to the post-ups of Butts and Reed, particularly Butts, who does a good job of getting low, sealing his man. It's clear that Coach Lato wants to get the ball down low in the paint.
Some size on Charlie Moore right now. They go inside to Butts, and it'll be Paul Reed.
It's the second time that DePaul has been able to lob the ball over the defense of Providence to Reed high above the rim, and you got to get more ball pressure on the passer to not let that pass be so easy.
Weems was right in the face of Diallo on that shot, forced a bad one. Still a tie game, 16-16. Moore going around the defense, and he was fouled. That's the 6th team foul for Providence. And you mentioned it, Tariq, going down low, you can use the athleticism for
it. Starts with the pass. Diallo had his hands down, which gave Gage the open angle to lob it, and Diallo has long arms, so if he gets his hands high, it'll be a harder pass to complete. But nice look by Gage to Reed, who finishes above the rim.
Moore with White on him. Moore, three, short. Pipkins the rebound.
Tough shot by Moore. Contested three with Malik White's hand in his face.
And a push by Devin Gage as White was going by him on the baseline.
You know, White is one of those fire plug guys that is not afraid to push tempo, and Gage is a little bit too much contact as White tried to beat him baseline. Easy call.
A little nudge with the chest, and he heads to the bench with 2 fouls. So Gage with 2 fouls, Hall with 2 fouls. Those are 2 guys that Dave Lato really relies upon off of his bench.
Absolutely. Those are 2 rotation guys, and a lot of times he likes to play Gage and Moore together to speed up their lineup.
And Pipkins off his shoe, got a hold of it. Weems nearly got it back. And then a whistle on Moore. And these folks here in Chicago starting to get a little bit tired of the whistles.
Well, you know, it's a physical game, and there's a lot of hands. There's a lot of hand action on the perimeter, a lot of hand checking, and, you know, Moore is trying to cut him off, but he gets him with the body, and Pipkins draws a 6th foul by DePaul.
It's a subtle move, but it's still a foul. There's a 3 by White.
Nice out of bounds play, and White just got free off a cross screen and got that quick 3 off of just in time.
You blew the whistle on this side.
Sloppy on the front end of this possession by DePaul, trying to pull it in together. Weems. Now Butts lost it. Unforced error. White moving forward for Providence. White pushing. And Malik White, no. Young with an offensive rebound. Tries to pull it away. It's a jump ball, and it's Providence basketball.
Well, offensive rebounds are a key concern for both teams. And talking to Dave Lato, he said, look, we can't allow them to get second chance points. Khalif Young, Diallo, and Nate Watson are the 3 guys that you're most concerned with, talking to Coach Lato about the front line.
These are 2 teams that are as good a rebounding clubs you'll find in this conference, both averaging over 39 boards per game.
There's Providence in that deep flex offense, which calms them down, allows them to get good rhythm, and a nice post up to Khalif Young. Uncontested.
Averages nearly 5 points and 5 boards a game.
Providence now in a 2-3, extending it up high, trying to put some pressure on the ball, but also protect the paint.
Butts trying to create some space. A bit out of control. Reed off his hands and going to the Friars. Providence on a run. They've got a 5-point lead.
And defensively, Providence's length is starting to give DePaul some problems. The combination of Diallo, Young, and Emmett Holt down low. They went to a 2-3 zone. I thought their length bothered DePaul.
And because of the foul trouble off the bench, you're seeing freshman Nick Ongenda on the floor for the first time.
6'11" Frost from Canada.
It's interesting when you say length gives DePaul a bad time. Speaking of length, DePaul's got plenty of it. Step back by Paul Reed. Short rebound on Ongenda. And he's going to go to the line and shoot a couple. Malik White and the Providence Friars up 5 on the road.
The senior guard making it happen, and it helps to have some offense off the bench. He provides that. And Providence got some momentum, up 5. I think it's crucial to come out with the win, particularly on the road, and they have to do a better job of paying attention to keeping DePaul off the glass to control tempo, and that's what he was emphasizing there in the timeout.
You see Ray Nattelli talking with Alpha Diallo as Nick Ongenda is about ready to shoot some free throws for DePaul, try and get back into this ball game. This is a run for Providence. It's 12-4 at the moment. Got off to a slow start shooting the basketball, but they have found some seams in that DePaul defense so far, Tariq.
Well, I think they're trying to take advantage of DePaul's foul trouble and also trying to leverage their experience. Ed Cooley told me yesterday, look, I have to adjust my coaching based on my personnel, and what I'm trying to do is get possessions where I can pound the ball in the paint and use my size to my advantage.
Some more offensive rebounds from DePaul, but it's out of bounds off of Paul Reed. I beg your pardon, a change there as Paul Reed got a shot to his face.
A lot of contact down there. Looked like a loose ball scramble, and then maybe a wild arm. Oh, he's bleeding.
Yeah, just an inadvertent shot to his face. Looked like from Khalif Young, as Paul Reed going to get some medical attention over on his bench.
I mean, were we right or not, Jeff? This is going to be a bloody match, a bloodbath. And exactly, Ed Cooley and Dave Lato both said that yesterday in practice. They expect a bloodbath. Now, there was nothing dirty there. Let's be clear. There was no dirty play there on Reed. He just got hit by a wild arm, but it's physical down there. There's a lot of contact. I think the officials are doing a good job so far of keeping it clean, but, you know, it really comes down to this, Jeff. You don't want to start out 0-2 in conference play, right? DePaul is 0-1 right now. They lost to Seton Hall the other day. Providence has won 2 straight. They're coming off a win versus Georgetown. They're trying to build on that momentum. They're still trying to find out what kind of team they have. So this league is stacked, and you've got 10 teams that are battling, and early on in the conference play, you certainly want to start out with some winning momentum.
And these two teams are the most physical of any of the teams, as we'll get a whistle and a jump ball, and it will stay with DePaul. But when you look at the rest of the league and the dynamic, take a Creighton, for instance, or even a Butler who played together today in a nice matchup, and a whistle away from the basketball. You know, how do these teams, Providence and DePaul, alter their game, or how do other teams alter theirs to try and match up with these two clubs?
Well, that's what makes it exciting, because the matchups are so intriguing based on style of play. And, you know, you have these two teams that are probably more blue-collar, physical, pounded in the paint style teams. You do have some guard play with guys like Moore and Pipkins, but they're more interior-based teams. And then other teams, like a Seton Hall or a Creighton, more perimeter-oriented. And, you know, that's going to be a battle game to game, which makes this conference so exciting.
Marquette on that list as well, with Marcus Howard, the way that he's able to shoot. They've got themselves a nice game today, too, against Villanova up in Milwaukee. Great slate of games in the Big East on this Saturday.
We'll see if Providence can continue to pound the ball through the paint. They're going to try to feed Diallo or Watson. That's what they're looking for off their cross-screen action.
White for 3 again. Malik White has the hot hand for the Friars.
He does, and he's shooting the ball with confidence. He's not hesitating, and when you catch and shoot, you want to make the other team pay, and he's doing that.
Moore step back, and Moore has had a really difficult start. Weems short on his shot. Moore scoreless in this ball game so far.
Well, when he doesn't score, obviously, they're a different team. Leading this team at 16 points a game and coming off a tough game versus Seton Hall. He's looking to get back on track, but you got to give Providence credit for attention to detail on the defensive end.
Emmett Holt tries to drive, ran right into Ongenda and Paul Reed. Moore on Pipkins, threw it away. And now Emmett Holt up ahead of everybody. Ongenda chasing. And a foul on Nick Ongenda. Crowd thought it was clean. And
Holt
down
took a
is
shot.
Emmett Holt.
Well, you could tell that Ongenda was gonna catch him. You could tell it by the strides, but it looked like Holt might have slowed down as he got to the rim, and that may be a flagrant with the foul above the neck.
Well, the officials are going to take a look at it. You could see the forearm come down and hit Emmett Holt right on his nose. You see him trying to... That hurts.
Yeah, that was a hard foul. Definitely made him earn him. It looked like Holt might have slowed down at the end, and great effort by Ongenda. It didn't look like an intentional foul, but he just tried to block it. It came down on his face.
He got ball first, but then the follow-through is what got Holt.
Yeah.
We take a look at the flagrant ones and flagrant twos.
I'd expect it to be, in worst case, a flagrant one. Excessive contact.
And if nothing else, just a plain old hard foul.
Back in my day,
you.
that was a normal foul back in my day. I'm dating myself, but
Get up, nobody's going to the benches, and make sure you can make your free throws.
they don't even help you up back then. It's just like, whatever, play on.
Nick Ongenda, we talked about it because of the foul trouble with Darius Hall and Devin Gage. Ongenda thrown into the action today and going to be asked to play a lot more than he normally would. And while they continue to look and have a decision, don't forget tomorrow Kirk Cousins looks to finally break through as he leads the Vikings against Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and the New Orleans Saints in the NFC wildcard game. Coverage begins at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. So Nick Ongenda.
Bill Covington just came over and said that's going to be a flagrant one, excessive contact, with 2 shots in the ball.
So Emmett Holt's going to go to the line. Ongenda can't really believe the call. And the freshman out of Canada, 6'11", charged with the flagrant one.
Well, I think you're right, Jeff. It was the follow-through that did it. The actual block was fine, but then he swiped down and followed through, which made it excessive. Good call by the officials.
Holt makes them both. Largest lead of the game for Providence at 8 points. You see Duke, who hasn't seen the floor in a while, check back in, as well as Greg Gant. And Pipkins and Holt head of the bench.
Well, this is becoming a really vulnerable situation for DePaul. They need to get a stop here and slow the bleeding, because right now Providence has got some momentum.
Good ball fake, shot, and a foul. They'll get Charlie Moore with a personal. And for DePaul, you go back to their loss against Seton Hall, too. It was all in the second half and really the last 5 minutes of that game where Seton Hall took charge. And now you're seeing the first half of this one. This is kind of 2 straight halves for DePaul where it's been a little murky.
Yeah, you know, they didn't shoot the ball well versus DePaul. Versus Seton Hall. They shot 34% from the field, 24% from 3. Along with the turnovers, where they had a number of turnovers. Charlie Moore alone had a tough night versus Seton Hall, 8 turnovers. And you know, your point guard has to do a better job of that. Today he's off to a tough start as well, with 2 fouls and a couple assists, but just not shooting the ball well. And you know, he doesn't seem to be in rhythm yet. So it's not to put it all on Moore, but he has to play well. In 2 games they've lost, he has not played well.
And we've talked about the experience factor from Providence quite a bit. You look at this DePaul roster, and only 3 guys on this team that see the floor regularly for DePaul saw action in conference play last year as Paul Reed goes to work down low.
And the interior passing has been really impressive. Nice pass by Ongenda, who found Reed, who flashed to the open gap in the zone, made himself a target, and caught it and finished.
Back down to a 7-point deficit for the Blue Demons. Under 6 to play in this first half. Duke with Coleman Lands undersized on him.
And Providence back in that tight flex. They're trying to get some rhythm and try to exploit a mismatch on the cross-screen, down-screen action.
2 to shoot and a drive and a block by Ongenda. Good feed to pull out by Coleman Lands. 3-ball Moore. And Romeo Weems.
That was a great job by Providence in transition, getting back and slowing down the fast break and then getting out and contesting Charlie Moore. That's exactly how you play that if you're Ed Cooley.
For Dave Lato, you want that shot from Charlie Moore, just not falling yet. We'll get a foul underneath.
And here we see that execution by Providence. Just a nice job by a shot fake and then a flash by Paul Reed. He made himself available and flashed up to the gap versus that zone and was able to finish off the glass. Good execution.
Well, Greg Gant just picked up the offensive foul. And for Gant, that's his 3rd. And you're looking at the offense for the DePaul Blue Demons right now. It's all Paul Reed. He's the only guy that's made a field goal in the last 8 minutes.
And he's been their leader all year long, and certainly you want to have some balance, but Paul Reed more than capable of carrying this team when they need his offense.
Well, now Charlie Moore drawing Alpha Diallo in the matchup. Coleman Lands. Shot clock winding down, buries it free.
Well-needed 3 and a big-time shot by Coleman Lands. His size and height advantage over Pipkins allowed him to get that shot off.
Out of bounds, staying with Providence. Only their 2nd make from beyond the arc. Coleman Lands, the X factor.
Yeah, he's 6'4" and has that ability to create some space and shoot over the top at 6'4". Pipkins only about 5'11". Nice shot by the senior.
It's one of those mismatches you can exploit when Diallo is trying to match up on Moore. Pipkins, his jumper's been off all afternoon. His 2nd chance, though. 3 off the heel. Reed with another rebound. Pushing the tempo. Here comes Moore. Leaves it off to Paul Reed. And a foul before anything.
But that was a nice push by Moore, and they want him to run and push the tempo, and Paul Reed knows he's going to get rewarded because he runs the floor hard. And as Moore draws in the defense, he dumps it off to Reed, who's running the floor hard. He knows he's going to get a chance to finish at the rim.
Diallo thought it might have been a travel on Paul Reed, but instead he goes to the line.
You know, Jeff, this guy has just gotten better and better. Only a junior, a double-double machine, probably one of the most intriguing, talented, possible NBA guys that we have in the league this year. And I just love his attitude, his leadership. He's a quiet guy, but he lets us play do the talking, and the hardest work on this DePaul team, no question.
2nd in the country in double-doubles. He has 10 on the season, well on his way to another one today with 8 and 7. Underneath, and the altered shot by Ongenda. He has been a difference maker in the paint.
Yeah, he has. His length has bothered Watson, and a nice job being big at 6'11" and keeping his hands high.
Moore, finally, over his old buddy Pipkins. And just like that, we're back even. 27-27 in Chicago.
Charlie Moore starting to make it happen. The pull-up jumper rejects the ball screen again, and he's not going to stop being aggressive. He knows how important he is to this DePaul team.
27-27. DePaul here at home looking for their first conference victory, and Paul Reed has been a difference maker yet again for the Blue Demons.
Well, he's gotten better every year. He's really improved his skill. One thing he's always been good at is a high-flying athlete. Great hands, pogo stick jumping ability, and just a very good feel around the game. He's expanded his range and his IQ. A hard worker, but a guy that's extremely driven, wants to get this team back to winning days. And he's certainly done that so far at this point in the season.
Feels like he's always in the right place at the right time, especially on the glass.
Well, he's an elite offensive rebounder, and he leads the Big East in rebounding, as we know. And even talking to Coach Lato, he said, look, we can't just depend on Paul Reed to get all the rebounds. We got to help him, because sometimes you take for granted how good of a rebounder he is, averaging 8.5 defensive rebounds a game. A little full court pressure here. Kind of token full court pressure, but DePaul has settled down a little bit and got their offense going. Let's see if they can slow down Providence, who continues to pound that ball in the paint.
See Duke trying to get around, and now David Duke for three. Ongenda, extended minutes today for him because of the foul issues. Ongenda already over 5 minutes played. Seven to shoot. And we'll get a whistle on Alpha Diallo trying to cut off Charlie Moore's run. Coming up, it's the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report. Mike Hill, Steve Lavin, Andy Katz from Los Angeles are standing by. Get you caught up on all the action from around the top 25 of the Big East today. Great slate of games. We saw Butler, 11th of the country, knock off Creighton, who'd been as hot as anybody in the NCAA. Villanova in Milwaukee against Marquette as we speak. This game here today.
It's shaping up to be a great year in the league, and only in the second week. Actually, we're just finishing the first week, and you can feel that it's going to be interesting going into March. It wouldn't surprise me if we're talking about 6 or 7 teams going to the tournament as good as this league is top to bottom.
There are some years where you can circle a couple of games and say, all right, we can go get ourselves ready and get a win here, go get a win there. You can't say that anywhere in the league this year.
The non-conference action that the Big East had, winning percentage over 80% is just a huge feather in the hat as you get ready for conference play.
And foul and drive by Ongenda. Even DePaul, the 2-point lead. Ongenda picks up his second personal.
A lot of fouls, a lot of touch fouls so far on both ends, a lot of hand checking, and that's going to be a key thing to look into the second half. Which team can foul less and which team can make their foul shots, because it's a physical game already down low, but on the perimeter, seeing a lot of touch fouls, a lot of hand checking that you want to avoid to put your team in a better position.
So Darius Hall, just 3 minutes today because of the foul issues. The Duke pair of free throws snaps an 11-0 run that DePaul was on. Back to a tie game, 29-29. And just over 2.5 to play. See the two-guard look. Deep three by Moore. A strong rebound by Duke. Extra pass, Pipkins, smart decision. Duke now over the top of Ongenda. Offensive rebound, right up with it, Pipkins.
That just can't happen. The smallest guy on the court gets into the paint and gets an offensive rebound, second chance points. A big factor for Providence.
Coleman lands it, look good out of his fingertips. Pipkins to Duke. And DePaul maintains possession down a couple, 1:46 to play.
Yeah, you see Duke there. And when I talked to Coach Cooley about what's changed this team the last couple games, he said, look, we decided to move Pipkins off the ball to the 2 spot because he's such a good scorer, not have him think as much and run the team, and move Duke to the 1. And, you know, Coach Cooley is a guy that's not afraid to make adjustments midseason based on personnel, finding the right technique, finding the right strategy. And that's definitely seemed to help them so far in the last few games.
Coleman Land steps inside this time. Paul Reed, another offensive rebound. Is so strong. Coleman lands on the take. Nice baseline drive.
Well, the ball fake froze the defense. Great job by Coleman Lands. And he continues to be effective, not shooting the 3 so much, but taking the ball off the bounce to the basket.
Coleman lands in double figures and a block by Ongenda. Coleman lands, leaves to Gage for 3. Under a minute to play in Chicago. And then Holt now for 3.
Both teams not afraid to hoist it, but Coach Lato called a timeout to try to get a good possession.
Step aside for just a moment, but Paul Reed really asserting himself in the post.
Yes, he is, and he continues to be a factor on the glass, but Coleman Lands has been the guy driving hard to the rim with the ball fake and a reverse.
All, 40.6 to play in this first half. Jalen Coleman Lands, the only player in double figures. Got 10 points today.
Yeah, I think he's done a good job of playing off the defense and letting this game come to him. He knows that he's going to be pushed out as a shooter, and they're going to run him off the line. So instead of playing into their hands, he's attacked off the bounce and become a really effective driver.
Reed, top of the key. Knocks down the jumper.
That's just good zone offense. Good possession by Coach Lato out of a timeout. Get the ball to your best player at the high post and let him go to work.
A couple years ago, every team in the country would say, go ahead, let him shoot it. Now he can make that shot pretty consistently. Comes away with a steal. 3-on-2. Reed pulls it back. Moore leans in. No. Still plenty of time. Reeves. And A.J. Reeves couldn't hit it, so DePaul will take a 2-point lead into halftime at home.
And this man, Paul Reed, has been the guy that closed the game out with his leadership and his playmaking ability. DePaul going into the half up 2 and some momentum.
That's the end of the first half. We'll send it to Mike Hill and the guys in L.A. with the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report. Got a good one here in Chicago, folks. DePaul up by 2. Ready to play in Chicago, a 2-point lead for DePaul at home. Looking for their first win in conference action. Providence trying to get to 2-0 in conference play. Big question for you, Tariq, for Providence. Where has Alpha Diallo been?
Yeah, you know, he was very, very quiet, uncharacteristically quiet. 1 of 4 from the field, 3 points, you know, 1 assist, and I expect him to ramp it up in the second half. He's an alpha dog, no pun intended, but he's the kind of guy that, you know, if he's gonna go down swinging, and to only have 4 shot attempts, it's not all on him, but he's got to find a way to be more involved, more engaged offensively. And I expect him to get more engaged early on in the second half, particularly down low in the paint with Williams Gardner.
And for Paul Reed, just 2 rebounds short of another double-double. It would be his 11th, which would tie him for the lead in the NCAA.
A little lineup change with Hall in the starting lineup for DePaul at the 4 spot.
Haven't seen Jalen Butts on the floor hardly at all as Diallo is walled up by Weems, and a bad pass by Alpha Diallo up ahead to Paul Reed. Ran into some trouble. Coleman lands. Weems trying to keep it alive into the hands of Duke. Emmett Holt running the floor nicely, and it rolls into a chance for a 3-point play for Emmett Holt.
Great job on a 2-on-1 fast break, and DePaul not getting back fast enough on transition. Emmett Holt just runs the floor, a great pass to lead him, and that's a great way to start the half if you're Providence.
Bad turnover turns into points. And Emmett Holt, who's in his 6th year here in Providence. What a story for Emmett. Had the injury problems the last couple of seasons, and Ed Gooley, very point blank, told us before the game he is lucky to be alive. The way that he's been injured and dealt with the number of ailments that he's dealt with.
Yeah, it's just a miracle that he's back on the court and playing a big role and well-loved and well-respected by the Providence community.
Foul away from the basketball. Charlie Moore picks up his 3rd as he held on to David Duke.
Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. You know, Moore obviously a big part of DePaul's success.
Hasn't been much of a factor on the offensive end, Charlie Moore.
Well, Duke's length has bothered Moore also. At 6'4", super athletic. He's been able to cover some ground and block off some angles.
Move by Paul Reed going behind the back. What an athlete.
I mean, that's just big time. That's the kind of stuff that scouts would love to see. Put it on the floor and just got an angle and just drove right past Young like he wasn't even there. Beautiful move.
Duke ran right into Moore. Now Pipkins stops and pops.
Pipkins can heat up. You know, he's averaging 13 points off of 50% from the field the last 3 games. So look for him to be more aggressive.
Pipkins, the Chicago native, childhood friend of Charlie Moore.
Good hedge by Young. They're double teaming or blitzing Moore on every ball screen.
Reed ends up on his backside, hits the jumper anyway.
Well, Reed's got his whole game going. He knows that he can take Young off the bounce, but he also has the length to elevate and keep Young off balance, showing that versatility.
Reed's got all 4 in this second half for DePaul. 14 in the game. Pipkins drives. And a block by Hall. That was close. And then a trip with 7 on the shot clock. They'll get more, and that is his 4th.
You see the versatility by the junior Paul Reed, who's worked on his ball handling over the summer. Couldn't do that as a freshman, but certainly showing his improvement. And then showing the strength, the length, and the ability to stretch the floor with the pull-up or catch and shoot. I mean, big-time shot.
And then we'll get a hold down low. Coleman lands. Should correct myself, for Charlie Moore, it's his 3rd. Alpha Diallo also has 3 for Providence. Coleman lands. Picks up his 2nd. From the elbow, Diallo. Weems has done a nice job on Diallo on the offensive end. Pipkins. 2 for 2 for Pipkins.
As he backpedals and talks to himself to get himself fired up, Pipkins is more engaged. You can tell he's got that confidence. He's hit 2 big-time shots. Look for him to continue that aggression. Playing off the ball now has helped him and helped his team.
Nearly 3 minutes gone by. Coleman lands, pops a jumper. Back and forth we go. Much better offensive sets for both teams in this second half. Out of bounds off of Providence. Paul Reed again creating, as well as Romeo Weems.
Big-time defensive play by Weems, using his length to get the deflection. And here's Pipkins. Little jab step pull-up. Doesn't hesitate. And on the other end, Coleman lands with a nice pull-up off the bounce.
Moore knifing his way through. Charlie Moore finally uses the window.
Well, you like the fact that he continues to attack. He's not shooting a great percentage, but in order for DePaul to win this game, he has to keep that aggression. He has to keep putting the ball in the paint, get those paint touches with good penetration.
Reed keeps it alive. And Moore put it on deck. Pipkins with numbers. Pipkins couldn't get it. Second opportunity for Providence. Pipkins, corner 3. Pipkins is hot. He's hit 3 straight.
Somebody better get a man on him, because he is a different player in this second half than he was in the first.
Pipkins, when he gets hot, watch out.
Well, he's a rhythm guy like a lot of players, and just leave him wide open in the corner. He had time to eat dinner, dessert, and still make the three.
I don't think he has touched the rim on his last 3 shots. He's been true. He's got the last 9 for Providence.
Providence into a zone now. It's a 1-2-2 with Duke at the top using his length at 6'4".
Weems fires away from 3. Offensive rebound by Reed. He's going to the line. His 9th rebound of this game. He is shooting free throws when we come back. Pipkins and the Friars.
The hometown kid heating up in a rhythm and feeling good, as is Providence.
Big East Hoops on FS1 is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Back with you in Chicago. Got a good one. Game 2 of the Big East Conference play. Providence up by a couple, and whatever Ed Cooley said to Luwane Pipkins at halftime, it has worked nicely, Tariq.
Well, he's a different player, and obviously when you hit 3 threes, that will do wonders for your confidence. He's a tough-minded kid. He came here back home to his hometown and didn't get off to a great start in the first half, but the second half he's calmed down. He's got some great clean looks and knocked down 3 big deep ones.
Came to Northwestern earlier this year in his first return to Chicago after playing at UMass and now playing at Providence, and it didn't go so well for he and Providence this time around. At least in the second half has been awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. We talked to Coach Cooley before the game and said, hey, did you have to say anything specific to Pipkins about coming back home and the pressures of playing back in your hometown? He said, nope. We went through this earlier in the year. We laid an egg versus Northwestern. All I had to do was write the score of that game on the board, and that was all I needed to say to Pipkins and the rest of the team about locking in for today.
Yeah, that's enough motivation right there. No need to replay what happened that day. No need to talk about it, but just go out and play better. As Paul Reed goes to the line and shoot a couple of free throws, misses the first.
Now, we haven't heard anything yet, but we're waiting to find out what happened to Jalen Butts. The starting power forward for DePaul has not come out. He's dressed. It looks like he's not even dressed to come back out on the court. He's got his sweat top on. Not sure if he's hurt or what, but that's something to keep an eye on. The starting power forward, a big part of that front court for DePaul.
He played just 9 minutes in that first half. Never saw him again. Waiting word on Jalen Butts. Massive part of this DePaul front line. Just celebrated his birthday yesterday, too, as Paul Reed comes over with the block. But Emmett Holt is right there to clean it up.
A nice second effort by Holt. He slipped the screen and got open, and then Paul Reed blocks it. But good job by Holt staying with the play. You don't give up on the play. And the senior is rewarded for his effort.
9 blocks for DePaul's defense. Coleman lands deep 3. Offensive rebound by Darius Hall and a reset. Coleman lands, putting him in the mixer. Just missed. He's had some good looks, though.
Well, they want him to stay aggressive and shoot the ball, and when he gets an open shot, he's got great form, great technique.
Malik White on the floor for his first turn in the second half. Pipkins, he is on fire. 4 threes in this second half.
And again, the Coleman lands, got caught with his hands down. Pipkins with the quick release. At this point, after making 4 bombs, you got to make sure you face guard him and deny him.
Coleman lands over his last 3 in the last 2 possessions. 6-point lead for Providence on the road. And still Alpha Diallo trying to get himself going offensively. The way Pipkins is shooting, all he needs to do is give Pipkins the ball. Holt backing down. And a foul, and again, Pipkins, he hadn't hit anything but cotton recently. Actually got a little bit of rim on this shot.
Well, you know, it's still good, and you could tell when it left his hand that he felt like it was good. And he's fired up, and he continues to move well without the ball. They're running him off of cross screens and down screens. Does a good job of moving without the ball, creating space to get that quick shot off.
Darius Hall just picked up his 3rd. See Charlie Moore back on the floor as Devin Gage ends up on the floor, and he is down. Possession to Paul Reed and DePaul, and all the attention now onto Charlie Moore, who ran right into Emmett Holt's shoulder. Trying to slip the screen, and he got hammered.
It was a dribble handoff, clean play, and then Gage tries to shoot the gap and go over the top, which is the right way to play it versus a shooter like Pipkins. But he gets checked by Holt and takes a hard fall. Hopefully he's okay.
DePaul dealing with foul trouble and the butt situation, which we don't have any answers for. And Devin Gage out of Curry High School here in Chicago, up on his feet. That's a great sign.
Physical game.
Yeah, the officials are looking at it as well.
Yeah, I didn't see anything dirty about it, but, you know, Gage did the right thing. You got to go over the top versus Pipkins because you can't give him any daylight, but he got tangled up with Holt, and Holt, all he was doing was handing the ball off and kind of setting a brush screen. You see that play a lot, particularly on the perimeter, to free up a playmaker or a shooter like Pipkins.
I'd be surprised if there was anything on this play. There wasn't anything called on the floor.
There's no call here. I'd be shocked if they made a call.
I agree with that. We've already seen a flagrant one earlier in this game on a chase down block by Nick Ongenda, who hasn't seen the floor in the second half. And the officials are about ready to make their decision, and I think it's just a play on. That's exactly what it'll be.
Yeah, Lamar Simpson tells us to play on. There's no call there.
See, Ed Cooley, and by the way, wanted us to tell his wife, Nerese, and son, Isaiah, hello today. They're tuned into the ballgame. Daughter, Olivia, was torn earlier in the week on what to do. She's at Georgetown. Yep. So she had a custom shirt made with Providence down one sleeve and Georgetown with the other.
Yeah, she knows where her bread is buttered, though. She got to stay with the family. You know, Daddy is a little more high on the priority list than your alma mater, your school, Georgetown. But great family, beautiful family, Nerese and Isaiah. They call him Zeke. Rooting for Coach Cooley and the Friars as they try to get their first road win.
Ball out of bounds. DePaul's going to get it. Holt heads to the bench. Beg your pardon, they'll send Young to the bench. And DePaul trying to cut back into this 6-point deficit. Gage remains on the floor.
Zone offense, you want to get a couple ball reversals and get the ball into that high post area.
Hall's got it now with 3 fouls. Hall rises up, too strong on the shot. Paul Reed crashes in for another board. Reed makes a bucket, chance for 3.
He's just a beast on the offensive glass. He continues to find the gaps and attack the glass, and nobody puts a body on him. The best rebounder in the conference continues to enforce his will, and this is a big-time play by a big-time player.
17 points, 11 boards, give him 11 double-doubles on the season in 15 games.
Hey, he's such a tough matchup because, you know, he's a quick jumper, he's got great instincts for the ball, and he makes an effort for every rebound attempt. Doesn't take any plays off.
His 20th double-double of his career, as you saw, he had 9 in 2 years prior. 11 this year. Just a 3-point game after a massive play from DePaul's leader.
And Diallo's still quiet. Let's see if he can get himself going, but DePaul is pretty much neutralized him with good pressure and physicality down low.
5 to shoot. Poked away by Devin Gage. 3 to shoot. And Dave Lato talking about the pressure. As you see the most double-doubles this season. Paul Reed right up there with Nathan Knight from William & Mary. 2 to shoot. Diallo falling back, couldn't go. Emmett Holt with an offensive rebound and a foul underneath. They'll get Paul Reed, who was tangled up with Holt.
Oh, nice job by Holt. He knew the ball was coming off the other end, like a lot of corner shots do. And he pinned Reed under the basket where he couldn't get the ball. That's a savvy veteran move by Emmett Holt.
It's a hard thing to do with a guy like Paul Reed, too. Always feels like he's in the right place. Pipkins.
It's a play to get Pipkins a shot. That was a design play, a screen to screener.
Moore slicing his way through. Reed puts it on the deck with the left hand. And Diallo with a rebound. Good look from Pipkins to Holt, cross court. Diallo ran right into the front line. And Malik White not happy with Nate Watson on the exchange.
DePaul is pressuring the ball without getting beat off the bounce, and they're doing a good job of keeping the ball out of the middle, using the sidelines and the baselines as that extra defender.
DePaul has done a good job of capitalizing on the turnovers. Only committed 5 themselves. Nine to shoot, 12 to play in the game. Reed rattles it in again.
Well, 15 feet in, he's very comfortable. He's got the elevation and good ball reversal, good ball movement, making the defense shift. Then you get the ball to the hands of your best player who's doing a good job of flashing to the post, the high post, and making those shots.
Just a one-point game. Providence going to have to figure out a way to stop Paul Reed. Pipkins into Watson's hands, and Watson finishes.
The penetration by Pipkins caused the defense to collapse, and Watson been quiet, but nice job finishing the junior.
He's got 4 points. Devin Gage trying to shake Pipkins. Now his 3-ball right through for Devin Gage.
Big shot by Gage coming off the bench this year. Hometown kid from Chicago. He's had some battles with Pipkins as well coming up over the years.
He's done a great job on the defensive end, and an intentional foul is called by Alpha Diallo as Darius Hall is about ready to take it to the rack. But DePaul screaming through in a tie game, 50-50.
This game is heating up. A lot of guys making plays. You can see the urgency and the intensity on both players, both teams. Winding down, tied up.
Getting to be about that time in the game, tied up 50-50. Play just moments ago, Tariq, about the intentional foul on Alpha Diallo on Darius Hall.
Yeah, it was a clear path, intentional foul, and obviously that's bad for Providence with the 4th foul. And then you give DePaul 2 foul shots in a possession. Coach Cooley not happy about it, but he knows what this game means in terms of, tempo and where they are at this point in the season. 10.5 minutes to go, a lot of time left. Let's see how they react.
This is what he said to his team following the foul.
It's a long game. It's a long game. There's going to be good calls. There's going to be bad calls. You got to keep playing. Can't turn the ball over, and we got to rebound. Right? Can't turn the ball over. Bottom line. Can't turn it over. All right? It's a lot of time left in this game. Make sure we hold our composure. All right? Make sure we hold our composure.
It's so important for the coach, the person in charge, in this case Ed Cooley, to show his team that, look, there's a long time left. There's going to be ups and downs. Coach Cooley's showing his team, look, I can keep my composure. Now you need to follow my lead and do the same. Every call's not going to go your way. This is part of the battles of being in a competitive conference like the Big East. You're not going to get everything, but you have to stay with it. And remember, 2 things, rebound and basketball and ball security. Those are the 2 things that give you a chance.
Darius Hall misses the first. You saw the foul trouble there, too. We've been asking, where is Alpha Diallo? Well, now he has 4 fouls, and he's not going to be a huge factor in this game.
Well, he's going to have to sit him down and keep it based on time and score will dictate when Coach Cooley puts him back in the game, but certainly not a typical game you see from the senior forward with just 3 points.
See him there. Hit 1 3 in this game. 4 rebounds, those 3 points, turned it over 3 times. Right now, that intentional foul looks pretty good after Darius Hall missed a pair of free throws.
They dodged the bullet, that's for sure.
Ed Cooley trying to fire up his troops. DePaul has missed 6 of their 15 shots. Providence has only missed once.
You know, if I'm Coach Lato, I'm certainly encouraged by the fight that I'm seeing from this team. You're down a man with no buts, and certainly you're getting production from your best player in Paul Reed. I think Coach Lato's going to continue to involve Charlie Moore in some ball screen action. He's not having his greatest game, but Moore's a fighter. He's the kind of guy that will stay with it, stay aggressive, and see what happens. But certainly, as Coach Cooley said, a lot of time left.
The officials trying to get the shot clock right. It was at 20 initially, then it went up to 30. Now we're at 27, and that is where the shot clock will live with 10:50 to go in this contest in Chicago. Typical Big East smash mouth kind of game. And a turnover by Weems. Duke up ahead, smartly pulls it back. Ends up with Pipkins, leans in, no whistle. And Reed ends up with a loose ball. Extra pass into the corner. Good look that time by Romeo Weems. Had 5 early points, been stuck there. Halfway through this second half. Pipkins feeds Emmett Holt on a reverse.
Great execution. A pin down for Pipkins and a nice roll by Holt for the easy reverse layup. And that's just a experienced team executing down the stretch.
Gage to Ongenda, cross court. And Charlie Moore had his foot on the end line. Go back to the Providence possession and the vision from Pipkins.
Well, they had great spacing, and then just the execution, the pin down, opened it up for Pipkins, and then a roll by Holt, who uses the rim as a shield to avoid the block shot with the finish.
Emmett Holt has had a nice game today. 9 points for him, 4 boards.
There's another set play they liked with a weave and a ball screen action.
Down low, great feed, and a block by Ongenda. Another one by the freshman, Nick Ongenda.
You know what? That is impressive because Watson's one of the strongest, most powerful guys we have in this league in terms of finishing around the paint. But Ongenda and Paul Reed both gang blocked that shot and used their length to stop that shot.
Ongenda's got 4. The team's got 10. Providence calls timeout. Stick with us. 2-point game in Chicago.
But I still couldn't tell you who's the best team in the country, and that's kind of a weird feeling at this point of the year.
Nobody wants to be number 1. Number 1 team has lost a bunch as we get a walk from Nate Watson down low in the post. Was it 5 times the number 1 team has lost this year? Gonzaga finally holds court.
Yeah, it's unprecedented. And I think Gonzaga may hold on for a while. Their conference is not the same kind of conference as the Big East or, the Big 12. St. Mary's is certainly a team that may give them some problems, but I don't think they played them for a while.
Reed was not ready for the pass from Romeo Weems. Just the 6th turnover for DePaul. We were talking about it earlier, just this conference, the Big East, you might have 7 teams come tournament time be dancing.
It's setting up to be really exciting for the conference. I think this is the deepest the conference has been top to bottom since the conference realigned.
7 to shoot for Providence, holding a 2-point lead. Step back 3, Malik White. 12 off the bench.
You know what? That was just a great shot. Charlie Moore was right in his grill, had his hand up, but Malik White just made a big-time shot. He's done that in the first half as well.
He's made all 3 of his 3-pointers in this game, as Moore has been very quiet offensively. Devin Gage, nearly an air ball.
Three-point shooting for DePaul has not been a strength. 3 of 16 now from the fields from 3.
This was a game against Seton Hall as well, where they were 5 for 21 from 3. In 2 straight games where they haven't had their stroke.
That dribble weave action, they're trying to get someone to turn the corner.
Watson kept it alive. The shot clock had reset to 20, but it's out of bounds. Malik White keeping his Providence Friars team up by 5.
The senior guard from Richmond, Virginia. Sometimes you just need a guy to make a shot, and that's the guy to step up. And Dave Lato is trying to get his team back down 5.
5-point deficit for DePaul right now, 7:52 to play, and this is what Dave Lato had to say to his club in the timeout.
We need better execution in order to win this game. We need better execution. I don't care what we run. We need better execution to win this game. All right?
Exactly what Coach Lato was saying is what he talked about yesterday in practice. They need better execution going down the stretch, and that means taking care of the ball. That means taking good shots, because sometimes bad shots are just as bad as a turnover because it can lead to a run out. And this Providence team has shown that they can push tempo when they get numbers. So execution is very, very important for DePaul. Down 5, more than enough time left, but without Butts in the lineup, you lose some scoring and rebounding, so it has to have other guys step up.
Well, down the stretch is where they lost that game to Seton Hall last time out on the 30th. They've done a good job taking care of the basketball. It's just those empty possessions. As Paul Reed finds Ongenda. Nice job defensively by Nate Watson.
And that was not a bad shot, but that's a weight room situation there for Ojenda's not strong enough, didn't go up strong. He's a freshman, still growing into his body. He needs a little more strength to go up strong and finish.
That's where not having Jalen Butts on the floor is a big-time detriment for DePaul right now. Again, out with a leg injury, we are told, as Malik White drives. And Malik White putting his team on his back.
And that was good recognition by White. They overplayed the wing, so he back cut and got to the basket for an open layup.
And bodies are on the floor. White comes away with a loose ball.
And right now, Providence's experience is starting to show through.
We talked about it earlier. Only 3 guys on this roster for DePaul had played in a Big East Conference game before their loss against Seton Hall last time out. 7 to shoot. White with Moore in his face. Loose ball into the hands of Weems.
Weems got hit in the face. And they scrambled for the loose ball.
Coleman lands. DePaul needed it. Wouldn't go for him. Now White pushing the tempo. Smartly backs it off.
And with Diallo on the bench, Coach Cooley's finding that he's comfortable with the 3-guard lineup of White, Duke, and Pipkins.
Extra pass into the corner. Emmett Holt rattles the 3 in. 10-point lead, a 10-0 run for Providence.
For the poise of Providence, the patience, the ability to move the ball and not panic, starting to show through as the Friars get a little more of a cushion.
Where's the offense going to come from DePaul now? As Paul Reed, right on cue, down by 8. DePaul calls a timeout, but Emmett Holt and the experienced Friars.
The senior stepping up, and he's had a big game, showing that experience and that ability to stretch the floor. The big man with the 3. Providence up 8.
8-point lead for Providence on the road, 5:42 to go. We talked about where's the offense going to come from for DePaul. Paul Reed in the second half has 12 of the 19.
Yeah, you know, there's not enough balance there, and obviously Charlie Moore still more than capable of scoring, but he's having an off game, and I really think Butts' absence has hurt them down low with that 11.6 rebounds that he brings every night.
Pipkins had the hot hand early in the second half. Good help by Reed. Open look, Malik White. First miss of the afternoon. Darius Hall set to check in. Paul Reed with a ball fake, but a foul away from everything.
And if I'm Coach Lato, at this point, you just got to keep playing through Reed and just keep feeding him, because right now he's been the only guy that can make a play or open up plays for his teammates, because he's a willing passer. Coleman Lands is the kind of guy that you can have some inside-outside action, but Paul Reed has been the catalyst the entire game. He has to keep doing that.
Coleman Lands was so good in that first half, had 10 points to lead all scorers, but in the second half, he hasn't hit a shot yet. Yeah. And where did he find so much success? Driving. As Gage goes right to the rack.
Gage has turned the corner, and nice job getting into the paint, into the seams, and big possession here defensively for DePaul. They need to stop.
See if we see some extra pressure from DePaul, under 5 to play. Back outside, Emmett Holt. Rimmed in and out, had a good look. Trying to cut it into a 6-point deficit. Again, Alpha Diallo on the bench with 4 fouls. Has been a non-factor for Providence. Hall going underneath. Hall couldn't get the layup, but right there, Paul Reed.
And again, Reed for the offensive putback, second chance points for DePaul. Have been a big factor, particularly with Reed. And no one has had an answer for him on the offensive glass.
6-0 run for the Blue Demons. Gage providing some pressure. DePaul making a run here late. Darius Hall with a miss. Reed cleans it up. 4-point game. Stretch run, 3:57 to go here in Chicago. Providence holding a 4-point lead. Charlie Moore has been quiet for the majority of the afternoon, Tariq, and his numbers in wins against losses pretty drastic.
Yeah, and it's very telling, because you don't want to put it all on Moore because he's just one player, but he tells you how important he is to the success of this team. 17 points, just 2 turnovers, 43% from the field when they win. And then 2 losses, he's averaging 8 turnovers in both those games. And when I talked to him yesterday at practice, he said, look, all I can do is get better. After the Seton Hall game, when I knew I didn't play my best, he said he sat down with his coaching staff the next day, watched film, and tried to learn from his mistakes. And that's how you do. That's the attitude you have to have when you're playing that point guard position.
Well, for Dave Lato, he's been riding Devin Gage, who is not the offensive player that Charlie Moore is, but he's been so good on the defensive end. His active hands, he's been all over the place, and he's pretty much shut down Pipkins in the final 10 minutes of this game.
He has, and Coach Lato's not afraid to mix that up. Gage has started every game last year, more than experience, to play in crunch time situations.
And Pipkins has it. Diallo back on the floor with those 4 fouls. Beautiful cut to Malik White.
And that's just great execution. Coach Cooley is a master out of timeouts. They set up the play for Diallo to make a play from the pinch post. And the patience by White with the back cut. Second back cut in a row by White for an open layup.
White leads the Friars with 16. See what DePaul comes up with an answer. Down low, and a bad pass from Paul Reed, intercepted by Watson.
There was no angle to complete that pass, just too tough of an angle to get the pass in there.
Charlie Moore about ready to check back in for DePaul. 6-point lead, Diallo with Reed on him. Pipkins, 3. And we'll get a foul underneath as Watson was about ready to go up for the rebound. And go back to that setup play out of the timeout for Providence.
It's a setup play with Diallo at that pinch post elbow action. He can make a play himself or be patient enough and wait for White to set it up with the overplay by DePaul's wing. Providence set it up with a beautiful back cut for White.
And Darius Hall just picked up his 4th. Remember, Jalen Butts will not return to this game with a leg injury. As we see Providence with that 6-point lead, Hall with no points and 4 fouls, but Malik White off the bench has been outstanding today for Providence, Tariq.
Well, he made up for Diallo's lack of scoring, and when you have a talented upperclassman that just knows how to score the ball, it can be a difference maker, no question. And White came out into this game firing, knocking down big three after big three. And then after they got up on him for making the threes, he reacted to it by back cutting a couple times and finishing at the rim. He's an example of an experienced guard that just knows how to win.
Providence wearing the throwbacks. The 82-85 season, Malik White, who had a season-high 20 earlier this year. He's got 16 right now. The officials taking a look at the last foul underneath the basket.
It just feels like Providence down the stretch, and there's still more than enough time, 3 minutes to go. It's a two-possession game, but at the way the game's going now, Providence's experience in their half-court offense is starting to really take a toll on DePaul. There's still enough time for DePaul to get back into this game, but I just feel like, Providence has been able to get more quality possessions in their half-court offense down the stretch.
If you're Dave Lato searching for offense, of course you're going to try and look at Paul Reed, but if Providence has some sort of answer for him in the final 3 minutes, what's your second option if you're the Blue Demons?
Well, they put Moore back in the game because they have to have his offense. He's a threat. He's a guy that can still score the ball even though he's not having a great shooting game. So I think they're going to go offense-defense and put Moore back in as a ball handler, some screen and roll situations to see if he can create.
And as Dave Lato said in the last timeout, execution, that it's going to boil down to that here in this last 3 minutes of this game. That's where things went haywire for DePaul against Seton Hall last time out. The officials with nothing on that common foul underneath. Looked at a few different things with the monitor in this one. It's been very physical. Gage up on White. Nearly poked it away. 5 to shoot underneath. Watson. And they got bailed out. Charlie Moore with the personal. That is his 4th.
That's a tough one. I'm not sure there was a foul there. It was a nice job by Moore digging down on the post. Looked like he slapped at the ball, and we'll watch it here. And that was a clean swipe. No contact, but the ball.
Watson at the line, makes the first. Just a 37% free throw shooter, Nate Watson.
Well, Nate Watson missed his first 4 games with a knee injury and starting to round into shape now that we're here in conference play.
1 out of 2 for Watson. 7-point lead for the Friars on the road, trying to get to 2-0 in conference play for the first time since the 15-16 season. Coleman Lands has been quiet in the second half. Reed for 3. Off the heel. And Charlie Moore hit the head of Pipkins. And just stopping play as Pipkins got hit.
Clean play. 2 guys going for the ball, and we've seen that a number of times. Those kind of plays. It's been a physical, hard play game all day.
And Pipkin's going to head to the bench and get a little attention.
DePaul will show some full court pressure here.
At that time, 2:20 to play, you're looking for some stops.
We're there. You don't need the foul yet, but this is a 3-possession game. You definitely need a stop.
See the numbers on Pipkins. He had just 2 points in the first half. 4 threes in the second stanza. He's been a difference maker, especially with Diallo in his absence on the offensive end with just 3. Pipkins, step back over Moore, short.
Not a great shot. You can get a better shot there, but also well defended.
Now Moore on the other end. Finally, Charlie Moore.
And that's why you put him back in the game, because he's always a threat. Big time shot by Moore and showing that confidence to pull up.
1:40 to go. 4-point game.
Look for Providence to do something in the paint. That's where they've been successful.
Pipkins. Acrobatic shot, Lane Pipkins. Gage for three. That falls for Devin Gage.
One possession game. Huge possession here for both teams. DePaul needs to stop.
Pipkins ran right into Paul Reed, pulls it back out for White. Minute to go. And a foul on Devin Gage. Malik White will go to the line.
That was not a smart foul by Gage. There's no point in fouling him there.
Here's the sequence with Moore first.
And Moore just uses the ball screen, a little brush screen to get some space, and then his homeboy Pipkin with the tough drive. And this is a show of the Chicago City Guards making plays.
On display, Chicago's finest in the point guard department for the last few years. Malik White, 73%. Missed the first.
DePaul got lucky there. That could have been a really bad foul by Gage, but Malik White misses the foul shot. One possession game here. You don't need a three.
Moore fires away anyway. Out of bounds off of DePaul. Providence basketball, 43 and change.
Coach Lato's yelling at Charlie Moore saying, well, what are you doing? Like, that is not the kind of shot you want. A contested three off balance.
Emmett Holt checks in.
You still don't need the foul here, Jeff. There's 40 to 13 seconds differential between shot clock and game clock. No reason to foul. You need a solid possession defensively. One possession game.
They're up on Pipkins. Cuts through the defense. Pipkins takes it himself, and an offensive foul. Romeo Weems, the freshman, drew it.
Big time play by Weems, who moved his feet. He beat Pipkins to the spot. He knew that Pipkins was going to try to lean into him and draw the foul, so he moved his feet and was out of the restricted area. Huge play. And DePaul still has some life, down 3 with 33 seconds left.
DePaul calls a timeout to talk about what Dave Lato's going to try and do right now. You've got more than one possession. Again, 33.3 left to go. Shot clock is still on. Dave Lato's going to try and draw something up.
Yeah, obviously you're down 3. You don't need a 3. You need the best available shot you can get. Moore is definitely going to be the guy that you look for to make a play, but I think they'll probably do some kind of two-man action between Moore and Reed. And defensively, if I'm Ed Cooley, you're switching everything. All exchanges, ball screens, dribble handoffs. You're switching everything because at this point, you can't leave anyone open.
You see the game reset. DePaul has one timeout left and the possession arrow. Neither team in the double bonus. And Providence in this second half taking charge. DePaul had a 2-point lead going into halftime. Told you what's on the line. If DePaul loses, they go to 0-2.
Yeah, it's a crucial game. There's no question. Crucial game for both teams. Providence trying to get their first road win of the season. And DePaul trying to get their first conference win of the season. So it's important for both teams to get on the winning track.
And you see what's coming up for DePaul. 2 straight road games where they will stay on the East Coast. St. John's and Villanova, then home for 3. The Butler, Creighton, and St. John's. No gimmies within this conference. And for Providence, upcoming head up north. Take on Marquette and Milwaukee on Tuesday. A couple of home games, Butler and St. John's, and then at Creighton, at Seton Hall. Again, this is a conference where you can't circle and go, that's a win, that's a win.
Yep.
It doesn't exist.
Well, you're exactly right. That's what makes the conference great.
Let's see what Dave Lato drew up in that timeout. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Coleman lands, looking to get open.
Great D by Holt. Great D.
Leading in a foul. Khalif Young thought that he was straight up. Coleman lands, drew the contact.
Let's see that again. I need to see it again because I went from saying great D by Holt to a second later. Yeah, he hit him. The verticality was not and made contact with Coleman Lands, and that is his 5th.
5 on Khalif Young, just 2 points for the senior. And Jalen Coleman Lands, with 16 seconds left, has a chance to go to the line, make 3 free throws, and tie this game. 78% foul shooter last year. Officials went back to look to confirm whether or not it was a 3. From what we've seen, everything was behind the line and copacetic there, and indeed that's the way it's going to be. So 3 free throws for Coleman Lands. This DePaul team, if there's one weakness, it is their foul shooting. Last in the Big East at 64% coming in.
Yeah, and Coleman Lands is one of their better foul shooters. But none of that matters right now. He just needs to step up and make these 3.
This is the ice water test. Coleman Lands had 10 in the first half, just 2 points in the second half. And he makes the first.
And the first one's usually the toughest.
Then you start thinking if you miss that first one.
Yep.
And a timeout by Ed Cooley. Speaking of ice, trying to ice Coleman Lands. They've got 1 timeout left. Providence going to get the basketball back no matter what. Whether you're tied or you've still got the lead.
Yeah, you know, it's been a great game. I mean, it's been fun for both of us to watch a game where there was kind of a bloodbath early, and then it came down to attrition and fouls and execution down the stretch and attention to detail. And now we have a, opportunity for DePaul to tie it up if Coleman Lands can make these 2. There's still a lot of time left, even if he does tie it up. But I think it'll be interesting to see what happens after these foul shots are taken.
And we've seen some other guys step up in this game, Tariq. Like Malik White has been awesome today in the absence of Alpha Diallo. Diallo with just 3 points today, 4 fouls. He's been absent on offense.
Emmett Holt as well. Holt. He's been huge, and that's what a team is about. You don't want to have to depend on just one player. And coming into this game, we highlighted Diallo for Providence and Charlie Moore for DePaul, but it's been other guys that have stepped up. And the teams that have the most success, they have a multitude of players step up throughout the season. It's not just one guy.
So Diallo still on the floor, 16 seconds, 2 more foul shots for Coleman Lands. Paul Reed has not had a break this entire second half. He's been on the floor the entire time they've needed it. As Coleman Lands, 2 for 3. Reed with 24 points and 15 boards, his 11th double-double.
I didn't like that he left the line. I would stay on the line if I was Coleman Lands. But maybe that's just me. You know, you make 2, you stay on the line. Don't walk away. Stay right there. Muscle memory.
Superstitious beings, right?
Yeah.
Feeling good, stay in the same spot.
Him, but
3 for 3.
It didn't matter.
Tie game, 16 seconds to go.
Standing room only here.
White has had the hot hand in the second half. Set it up for the final shot. Gage on. White driving. White. Poked away. Final last-ditch effort. And a foul. No. Yes, we will get a foul on Paul Reed on that last prayer thrown up.
What did we say at the outset of the game? Offensive rebounding crucial. You get good defense by Gage and a desperation shot. And the ball ends up in Watson's hands, and there was contact made.
And if you're DePaul, that's the guy you want on the line. 37% free throw shooter coming in. And a timeout called by Dave Lado. 0.7 seconds to go. And again, let's take another look and see where the contact is made by Paul Reed. It looks like this little last swipe.
Well, it started with Diallo keeping the play alive. He gets a tip out. He tried to tip it, but Reed swipes at it, and it ends up in Watson's hands. And there was body contact on the lower body, not on his chest, but like his legs. There was a brush, enough contact to throw him off balance. You got to make that call.
So Paul Reed picks up the personal foul. It's just his second. 65-65 our score. Take another look. Here it is from down low. That swipe right there with the left hand.
Yeah, that could have been the foul as well, now that you see it from that angle.
And you got Nate Watson on the line to try and put Providence out in front. It is a 1-and-1, and they will adjust the clock to 1.1 seconds as opposed to under a full second. As this is your game summary. Reed with a double-double, White with 16. They put the ball in White's hands to try and win the game, Providence.
Yeah, it's a good decision because he got a shot off. That's the key. You got to get a shot off, you know, even if you miss it, there's going to be a scramble like there was, and Nate Watson with a huge offensive rebound and a chance to win the game.
He's on the line, 37% free throw shooter. Missed the first. He's got another shot.
You could tell he was going to come up short because he didn't get enough lift. He didn't bend his knees enough, and
made the second. 1.1 to play. No timeouts for DePaul. You're going to put Watson on the inbounder. Time for more than just a catch and shoot, too. Weems had it knocked away by Watson. The horn blows, and the game is over. Providence comes to Chicago with one free throw from Nate Watson, and they beat DePaul 66-65.
Well, it was a battle like we predicted, and Providence gets their first road win of the season. DePaul 0-2, but this is a forecast of what we can look forward to throughout the season. Great teams playing hard.
This is going to be a monster conference, no doubt about it. Watson makes the big free throw and then tips the ball out of bounds to seal the win. Providence 66-65 your final. Next up, it's Elite Youth, the new series about the modern high school basketball superstars. So long, everybody.